and welcome to my demo for the chart challenge. So here, as you can see on my screen, I'm in Gephi, which is the software that I was using to create the chart. So as you can see, there's, well, let me turn off the labels. So as you can see, there's like a graph here. The big one in the middle is red, and that represents the original photo of Joan Nestle at the Lesbian Herstory Archives, and that's the one that's housed in the New York Public Library. The purple nodes represent materials that are directly from the Lesbian Herstory Archives, and this green node here represents the single material that's from the archives at Yale within the foundation of the chart. And all the gray nodes represent materials that can be added in the future once the base, the foundation, is uploaded to the cloud. I don't know, the website that everyone can add things to. So these gray nodes represent like future connections that can be made. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add the last element, which is this green node here, which is the archives at Yale, and that's the photo. The Bloodroot collective photo. So here is where you can, first you're going to click on, okay, so that node is selected, and you could tell because the color here is green. That's the only green one. And you could change the color, but I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep it as green. And you can change the size of the node. You can make it bigger or smaller. I want to keep it at 28 because I was trying to, like, this node is like 42, for example, and this one is 36, and it just keeps gradually getting smaller. So I wanted this last one to be the smallest, even though it's like not like super, no, it's like subtle. But anyway, so I'm gonna name this Bloodroot Collective. So it's there now, and then I'll turn the labels on so you can see that. And something else I'm going to do is you can change the layout of the chart. And right now it's in the contraction setting, which that is the default. I'm going to change it to expansion, so it's like a little more spread out. As you can see, readability is a little difficult. Unfortunately, you can't like change the words to make them like wrap around. Like you have to keep them, like they have to be straight across, and you can't like enter to make it like one on another line. Like it just doesn't have that capability. So readability is a little tricky, and even if you were to, I could make them a little smaller, but I don't know how much that really helps. But yeah, so I'll walk through why I chose which, I'll turn the labels off for a second, why I chose which order everything goes in. First, everything starts off at this original photo of Joan Nestle at the Lesbian Herstory Archives, and that's at the NYPL. Off of that is two materials. That is the Lesbian Herstory Archives t-shirt, and then that Lesbian Herstory Archives button, and they're over here by themselves and not attached to anything else, as you can see by the gray nodes. As of yet, because it only really relates to the Lesbian Herstory Archives, like this subject here, because those are like official merchandise of the archives. Then we have, coming off of the NYPL photo again, is the special collection of Joan Nestle, and that contains all her writings. And this is directly connected to this one because it's about Joan Nestle specifically. And then off of this special collection of Joan Nestle, there's that photo of Alex, Joan, and Deb. Joan, Joan is Nestle. So that connects to there because Nestle is once again involved in the subject of this photo. And then coming off of that, we have, like, going back to the center of it all, the NYPL photo. Another connection is with the special collection of Joan Nestle and Deb Edel. And as you can see, this one also connects to the special collection of just Joan Nestle, because this involves Joan Nestle, like once again, but it also involves Deb Adele. And that is they were co-founders of the Lesbian History Archives, and it contains like their correspondence to each other. Now we're going to start going this way in the chart. So after this correspondence between Joan and Deb is the special collection of just Deb's writings, and a lot of it has to do with her studies to get her degree in social work. And then after that is a photo, and that has a picture of like Deb Adele and also Johnson and Nancy Johnson and Dinah Utah, and they're outside of the Bloodroot, like the restaurant. They're outside it in the photo, but this is connected to this because Deb is once again in it. And then after that, because this photo is taking place at Bloodroot, the next thing after that is the newspaper clipping that has the restaurant review of Bloodroot, and so that connects to that. And then after that, we break out of the Lesbian History Archives and we jump into the archives at Yale. During my research, I was interested about Bloodroot. I'd never heard about it before, and I was wondering if it was still around. And during my research, I ended up finding an original photo of the original workers of Bloodroot, like 4 women, and unfortunately their names aren't identified in the record at Yale, but those photos were directly donated to the archives at Yale by the original owners of the restaurant, and they're still working there today. But so it's very interesting and very cool because you can see how it all starts from this archive, this digital library, and it spreads out into other archives, and then there's even like a third institution that shows up, and more of these gray nodes with the public's participation will have more engagement, and more archives will make an appearance in this chart. And then and that's the chart. Again, readability is a bit of an issue. I think in the future maybe I would edit this, maybe like export this file, this screenshot, and import it into maybe Photoshop or some other editing software so that I can just make the labels in there instead of relying on the labels within this software, because I think this software is more about like the visualization rather than like the labels. But this kind of visualization, it's kind of important that there is words on it. And same thing with McGraw, who used Gephi to map out the characters from the L word. She had the same issue. There was it was difficult to make it readable. And she said she would probably export it into Adobe Acrobat or Illustrator. And that's what I would do probably too. And yeah, that's it. So thank you so much for watching my presentation. And yeah, that's the chart challenge. Oh, and something else I wanted to say is that, so the idea for this project is that it would be uploaded to, members of the public would make their charts within this software, but then they would upload it to a website or a server, where the server automatically searches for connections with a new chart with the chart that's already there, and then if there's any new connections, it adds it to the master chart. I don't have the technical ability to make a website that's interactive to that point, so I just wanted to show how the project would at least start out with the first chart, the first draft of it. And something else too is that because of the readability issue, I can't put, it would just look really poor if I were to put the name of the material and then the summary that I have in my paper of what just describing it and the circumstances and where the material is housed. So I compromised by just color coding and just putting in the title, and then it would be great if when it's uploaded to the database, perhaps maybe you can edit it from there to make it more, to add more information into like the elements entries. And it'd also be cool if there was like hyperlinks within, like embedded. Like when you upload it to the database or the website, it'd be cool if there was like hyperlinks, like for instance, this Bloodroot Collective one, this photo from the archives at Yale, if there was like a hyperlink directly to the website from Yale, like that'd be pretty cool, because then that just further engages the user and encourages them to do some more research to see if there's any more connections they can find within the archives. But yeah, so that's my project. Thank you for watching, and have a great day.